Alrighty, welcome to episode 1 of the Hoopers Perspective. I'm the host, Brody Buchanan. I'm a high school basketball player, and next year I'll be a college athlete, something I wanted to start doing. So, we're going to get right into it here. Today I just want to talk about, kind of NBA coaches just being let go and the harsh reality that NBA coaches face sometimes with their profession. So, we're going to have some three main points and 3 situations that I want to talk about. So first, I would like to talk about Mike Brown, the most recent firing, being let go in the NBA. Mike Brown was the coach of the Kings. He led the Kings to their first playoff appearance in 17 years. And they lost in the first round, a series that they probably should have won. They took a good Golden State Warriors team to 7 games. And, Steph Curry did Steph Curry things. I think he had 50-something in the Game 7. So, obviously tough. But Mike was fired this season. So they were on a tough losing streak of about 4 to 5 games, I think, somewhere around there. They lose to a bad Pistons team at the buzzer on a 4-point play. So after the game, post-conference, Mike Brown kind of throws De'Aaron Fox under the bus and says, that they should have never really been in that situation because De'Aaron Fox should not have been at help when they were up 3, and that he was at help. He closed out, fouled him. The guy made the shot. It was a 4-point play. So he throws his star player De'Aaron Fox under the bus in a post-game interview. The next day, Mike Brown at this point, to our knowledge, has already been let go. So Mike is no longer the coach of the Sacramento Kings. He has been fired, but he is still coaching in the practice. And he is not informed that he had been let go until after the practice. They called Mike and basically said, you've been let go. But they didn't tell him while he was there before the practice. They called him after. So, like I said, I have 3 main points. I want to bring up 2 of them in this situation. First of all, if the star player on any NBA team wants the coach gone, then the coach stands no chance. The coach has no future. The coach will be fired. And I truly believe that. If the star wants you gone on any NBA team, then he's gonna get the coach fired. And another main point is I feel like coaches in the NBA do not have a good enough relationship with their front office. And I don't know if that's the coach's fault, the front office's fault, but, for example, you have a guy who's leading your team to greater success than they've seen in 2 decades, and he's the leader of your program, and you don't even have a good enough relationship with him to tell him in person that you're letting him go. That's 2 of the 3 main points and main problems I think that is in the NBA with coaching right now. Okay, so this leads me into my second scenario of a coach being fired, a coach being let go. And this is going to be another recent one. They're all fairly recent, all in the past couple years. So we're going to talk about Adrian Griffin being fired during his first season with the Milwaukee Bucks. Adrian Griffin, at the time of being fired in his first season, had a record of 30-13, was the number 2 ranked team in the East and the 3rd best team in the NBA. He was fired, or said to be fired, because of a lack of defense. And this is going to bring up one of the main points I feel like in the NBA that is a problem And this is not just in this point is not just in the NBA. This is high school basketball, college basketball, but you mainly see it in the NBA. So I want to talk. He was fired because they say that his team had a lack of defensive production. First of all, if you're the third best team in the NBA, I think your defensive production is either fine or it can be fixed. It's fixable, Anyways, the team before Adrian Griffin was hired as the Bucks head coach, the season before that, 3 of the starters on that team were Javon Carter, Drew Holiday, and Giannis, okay? So we're talking about Javon Carter, he is a professional basketball player because he is good at defense. That's why he's a professional basketball player. Drew Holiday, best on-guard ball defender in the NBA. Okay, and then Giannis, obviously, rebounds, blocks, protects the rim, can D on the perimeter. Giannis, okay? When Adrian Griffin is hired as the Bucks head coach, Javon Carter is let go, Drew Holiday is traded. That leaves him with 3 starters consisting of Damian Lillard, Malik Beasley, and Chris Middleton. 2 of those guys I would say are defensive liabilities, but all 3 of them are out there to score. They're not out there to defend. That is not even close to their role or what they want their role to be or anything like that. So it brings up one of my 3 main points, and a point that I really think is all across basketball, is that if you lose, it's because of the coach. If you're losing games, it's the media, fans, and I guess even in the NBA front offices are going to look at that as the coach's fault. Now, if you win, that's all the players. If you win in the NBA, if you win in any level of basketball, man, the players are doing a great job. No coaching credit. But if you lose, man, players just aren't in the right system. That's a harsh reality for a coach to have. And I think it really shows with Adrian Griffin getting a lesser of a lineup and being blamed for it, basically. Also, want to bring this up quickly with Adrian Griffin. If you remember, if you watch the NBA and you remember when he was fired, him, Damian Lillard, and Giannis kind of had some situations, some bad situations go on in huddles. And back to one of my main points I brought up with Mike Brown. If the star wants you gone, you're gone. And that's just the truth. But I want to move on to my third and final scenario here with Frank Vogel not being fired from the Suns, but when he was fired from the Lakers. So, Frank was the Lakers head coach for 3 seasons. In his second season as an NBA coach, he won an NBA championship. So, he accomplished the biggest accomplishment you can accomplish in the NBA. He won a championship. Okay? The year after that is the year that he was fired. So, second year, he wins the championship. Third year, he makes it to the playoffs. He's the 7th seed. He loses in the first round to the Phoenix Suns. Was let go right after that. So, I want to say, again, this is another, if you lose, it's on the coach. If you win, it's because of the players. So, in that third season, LeBron played 45 games, and Anthony Davis played 36 games. There's 82 games in an NBA season. So, the coach's 2 best players did not combine for 82 games. They did not combine for the games. They didn't combine for 82 games of the regular season. They combined for 81 games, okay? So, obviously, his 2 best players really rarely played that year. And he still made the playoffs as a 7 seed. So he wasn't, it still had a pretty successful year considering the fact his 2 best players basically didn't play that much of that season at all. After they lose in the first round of that series, he was informed that he had been fired in a post-game press conference. He was informed that he had been fired in a post-game press conference. So that brings me back to 2 of my main points. Like I said earlier, if you lose, it's because of the coach. If you win, it's because of the players. But also, the lack of relationship that a front office has with their coaches, to not even tell the coach straight up and straightforward, who has led their team to a championship and who was leading their team to success and leading their program, doesn't even have the relationship to tell the coach in person, or even the coach himself call him or anything that he has been fired. The coach finds out in a post-game press conference after the playoffs loss. So that's tough, and I think there has to be, like I said, I don't know if it's the coach's fault or the front office's fault, but I think there has to be a bridge made there where the coaches have a better relationships with the front office, considering that's the the coach is the person that's looked at as leading, is the person who's going to lead you to success. Okay, 4th and final point that I would like to make up, small little point, I'll only go over this for a minute or 2, but the Pistons have had 3 coaches in the last 3 years. And I think it brings up one of my main points, that if you lose, it's because of the coach, and if you win, it's because of the players. The Pistons obviously have not been good in those 3 years. They have made no significant roster changes, and basically have the same starting lineup that they've had for the past 3 seasons. They've basically had the same starting lineup all 3 of those seasons, with 3 different coaches. So I feel like as a front office, if I was in the front office, I would look at like, maybe our team, our players just aren't that good, And as a fan, you probably would have a hard time naming 3 or 4 other players that start other than Cade Cunningham, I feel like. Not me personally, but as a casual NBA fan would. So, again, if you lose, it's because of the players, and if you win, it's because of, or if you lose, it's because of the coaches, and if you win, it's because of the players, which is a very, very harsh reality for coaches, and, I just don't agree with that. So, that's basically all that I have for the first episode of the Hoopers Perspective, and, I'm going to try to keep producing videos and coming out with more and more stuff. I'd like for you guys to comment your opinion on the stuff I talked about today with coaches and their positions in the NBA and kind of the harsh profession that they're in. So thanks for watching, and tune in next time.